What's up, guys? Having a weird kind of day. Sitting in traffic. Probably got about 30 minutes to kill. So, thought I'd come and talk to you guys. Let's see, what do you guys want to talk about? Let's get into what you need to start playing 40K. Eventually I will do a video series on how to play 40K, but I guess just with this one I'll start. Man, this sucks. I'll start with what you need. So first things first, this is not a cheap hobby by any means. You are going to need a decent amount of money. You're going to need at least to get started, probably a couple $100. It depends on who your friends are, things like that. If you can nab an army off of a friend for cheap, or borrow the rules book, or borrow a codex from them, or whatever, that'll put you forward ahead of the game a lot further than everybody else. But the first things first you're gonna need is you're definitely gonna need a rule book. The rule book is definitely the holy hand grenade. It is most necessary to play the game. There are versions of it out there that you can buy digitally. There are portable editions that give you like the most general sense of the rules. Those are not bad to pick up, but you will miss out on a lot of special rules and stuff like that. So once you pick up one of these rule books, I have not looked at them since they came out. They were $80 whenever they originally came out. So there goes like a good chunk of your cash just right there. Let's just say you buy a brand new, it still is $80. There's $80. Then you're gonna want to buy a codex. Depending on how new the codex is, also, you guys can shop on eBay. You obviously can find better deals on there. $20, $30, $10, whatever. It all just depends on how lucky you get and how hard you search. But then you're going to need a codex. Once you have kind of like browsed over the rules a little bit, given some thought to how you want to play your game style, you're either going to want to be shooting, or you want to be heavy melee. There's also various ways to tweak that. There's also very psyker heavy, which is going to be like your Tyranids, your Grey Knights, your Demons. Those are all going to be very psyker heavy. How fast you want to be. If you play Eldar or a mechanized type army like the Astra Militarum, you will be a lot faster than guys who run a lot of foot soldiers. That you kind of just want to decide that first off, and then you go ahead and buy your codex. As far as codexes go, your Space Marines are going to be your most balanced. Typically, that's what a lot of people buy to start. They're very balanced all around. They're relatively quick. Their guys are tough. They're pretty shooty, and they're good at melee. Your Tyranids are going to be a little bit more difficult. They are more melee focused, so you're going to have to work on getting your guys closer. They do have a decent psychic phase, so you got to work with that a little bit. Astra Militarum can be super easy if you just run an all mech list, or they can be really complicated if you run a foot soldier list. You have to deal with things like orders and things like that, and there's a lot of special rules that come with those guys. Both the Eldars are going to be very quick. Their units typically aren't very heavily armored. They're very strong. They're very quick and agile, and they have a lot of saves that get them out of the way of stuff, and their weapons are very strong and can penetrate a lot of armor. Demons, basically there's almost no shooting, more or less. There's very heavy in melee, and they're very psychic heavy. This is very much a more advanced army to play. Tau, also I would personally say they have a lot of special rules. They are a little bit more advanced. you got to work with buying more expensive models with them. There's not as very many foot soldiers, so they're a pretty cool army though. They're not a bad starter army, but it's, you gotta have a little bit of an idea of what you're doing. Orcs are an awesome beginner army. That's why Space Marines and Orcs, I definitely think you see a lot of them out there. Orcs are a lot of fun to play. They're just a blast. They're literally throw as many models as you can across the field. Very melee heavy. They do have some shooting. Some of it can be good. Most of it's not good at all. So that's kind of what you got to deal with there. Let's see, who else did I miss? I don't know hardly anything about the AdMech, so I'm not going to mention them personally. Necrons are also a very easy beginner level army. You pretty much don't even have to upgrade them all. You just throw what models you want on the board and stay within your points price range, and then they pretty much like all hit on 4s, wound on 4s, and save on 4s. I'm pretty positive. If I remember correctly. I apologize if I'm wrong on any of that. And that should cover most of the armies. There are your different factions of Space Marines, like Space Wolves and stuff like that. Chaos is a lot like Space Marines, so that they are an easier beginning army. Pretty well balanced. I want to say they're a little bit more melee heavy, but it depends on how you run them. So that kind of gives you an overview of that. So go ahead and choose your codex, which army you would like to be, and then you go ahead and start looking through your codex. The first thing you're going to want to do is an HQ. You're going to want to choose an HQ depending on what army you bring. It's going to vary. I would go through and watch a lot of battle reports, kind of see what most people are using. Figure out tactically how they're using them, or maybe like look at all their special rules. As far as special characters go, typically, unless HQs go, they're typically not meant for as much getting into combat. They typically can get into combat and do some good damage because they are very much a stronger character, but usually you're using them for their buffs. So pick a HQ with good buffs, and then you're going to want to buy 2 troop choices. Most armies, that is a very basic choice. Tyranids, it's either warriors or Hormagaunts, Termagaunts. Space Marines, it's tactical marines. Astra Militarum, it's going to be your platoons. Dark Eldar, it's going to be your Caliblite warriors. Eldar, it's going to be your... Help me out, guys. I want to say they're Aspect Warriors or Avengers, I think is what they're called. Pardon me if I'm wrong on that. I don't know a whole bunch about the Eldar. As I mentioned before, they're not my favorite army. Orcs, it's just going to be Orc Boys or the little grunt guys. I don't remember what they're called. Gosh, this is merciless. Chaos Space Marines is going to be Chaos Space Marines. Demons, you have a lot of troop choices with demons. You kind of choose what faction of demonhood you want to be, and then you either choose like Khorne, which is like melee specific, Slanesh, which is very quick, Tzeentch, which is kind of more psychic a little bit. He's a very interesting god. Not a lot of people play him per se, because he's just not as useful. I personally would say stay away from Tzeentch a little bit more. And then you have finally Nurgle, which is going to be your Feel No Pain, which is super awesome. Typically your Marines and your Plague Bearers are very strong. Khorne and Nurgle are going to be the top tier guys. Slanesh just, although that he helps with the speed and stuff, choosing her as your god, they're just not as good as, the typical, I don't know, between Nurgle and Khorne, those are typically your best. So after you choose your HQ for his benefits, your 2 troop choices, that's basically all you need to really start a game necessarily. After that, you really are just going to start building on your army. So you bought the rule book, the codex, and those, your 2 troops in an HQ. You're going to want to buy a measuring tape. Then you're going to want to buy the template set, or you can borrow your opponent's depending on how you want to do it. And then you would also, I would recommend buying like some Chessex dice. You can get it pretty much almost anywhere. You can order them online super duper cheap. You can customize them like on eBay. There's a million people selling them, and most of them are new sellers, so they're new Chessex dice. Like I went ahead for my Imperial Fist, I got some yellow and black ones. I wish they had come out red, but whatever. So customize them to your army, how you want to paint them and stuff. Whatever, doesn't matter. So once you have the rulebook, codex, measuring tape, templates if you want them, and dice, you should be good to go. I would spend a lot of time watching YouTube videos and stuff like that and reading the general rules. The rule book is freaking huge, but don't worry, the first roughly, oh gosh, I don't know, I want to say 100 pages to a couple hundred pages is fluff roughly, and then basically after that it's rules. So I think it's like 100-page of rules, and that's like including the glossary afterwards, or the glossary afterwards that has all the words and stuff like that, and how to find them throughout the book and whatnot. So really you're only looking at like 50 pages worth of rules. It can get complicated, but basically it's move, psychic phase, shoot, and assault. So really that's the game. I would also, if you're starting new and you're starting new with a friend who doesn't know how to play the game, you're both brand new, there are quick reference guides that you can print off of the internet for free on Google. Just look up Warhammer 40K quick reference guide. It'll be right there. You can print it off. It'll give you the to hit table, the to wound table, the melee to hit and wound table, most of the general special rules, and stuff like that you need to really worry about. So that's pretty much all you really need to get to start the game. Like I said, just acquire as much knowledge as you can before pre-hand. Play as many battles as you can with your friends first before you go to a local club. It is very irritating to play against a very new player that has no idea what they're doing. But that's kind of the fun part of being a veteran, because you get to teach the new guys, you get to bring on the next generation of players. So that's definitely very cool. But you also do have your nitpicky guys that are going to only want to play experienced players who know exactly what they're doing, so they can just get in there, play their games, and go home. So unfortunately you have those guys, but then you also have like your game shop owners and managers, employees, and then some of the nicer veterans that are going to allow you to come play with them, to learn, make mistakes, and stuff like that. But like I said, you can pick up a lot just from watching battle reports. Several channels like Mini Wargaming give a very Wargamer J, and a few other channels all have posted their own how to play videos, so that you can kind of get a general sense for what you can do to get at least started. They walk you through the 4 phases, and they really don't teeter around with the special rules all that much, so you really only have to worry about just the 4 phases. So that's really all you need to technically get started with Warhammer 40K. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give me a comment or a like. Share if you want to help out some of your friends that are trying to learn the game. And I will eventually post a how to actually play video series eventually. Just been busy. Finals are coming up, so no guarantees. Anyways, see you guys later. I'm coming up on the reg, so I need to be careful here.